everybody, welcome back to another episode of Bemani Lounge Duels IRL. And here we have Juan Garcia on the left, proud Bemani Lounge member, piloting his Orcust deck versus Al Harris on the right from Team Plus Guys, piloting his Orcust deck. So we got an Orcust mirror match, ladies and gentlemen. Orcust mirror match. And our boy Juan is starting off. So we have a normal of Dark Grepher coming down, activating its effect, pitching the wand to grave. And it looks like it's good. No response from Al on his side. So let's see what Juan sends to grave. And we have Orcust Nightmare being Foolish Burial to the grave. Al just confirming that that was indeed Juan's normal summon. And we have a reveal of Danger Nessie. So let's see how this progresses for Juan. We have 3 cards to choose from. Al rolls, and it looks like he hit a Gizmek. So Gizmek's going to be sent to grave. Nessie will special itself, and Juan will get himself a new draw. So he has Juan and Orcust Nightmare, and he is banishing the Orcust Nightmare from grave, which is going to be met by Ash, but that in turn is going to be met by Juan's Call by the grave. So Juan's effect will resolve. So, and it looks like he's sending a skeleton, of course. Classic Orcust plays. Even without the Harp Horror, the deck can still do some things, you know. So Orcust Nightmare's banished itself in order to send skeleton from grave to from deck to grave. And now it looks like we have Juan banishing itself to special the Orcust Nightmare back from the banish pile. And it looks like he's linking those away, most likely for Galatea. Yep, Galatea coming down, activating its effect, but it's immediately going to be met by Al's Infinite Impermanence. And the wand will stay banished. It is not cost. So let's see how this progresses. Don't you just love an Orcust mirror match, ladies and gentlemen? I will admit, it does take a little bit of skill to see who the better Orcust player, who can navigate all the graveyard effects and whatnot. Shout out to Pete. So we have Dingirsu coming down on top of the Galatea, reattaching the wand. And now Grepher and Dingirsu are being linked away, most likely for the IP. Yep, we have IP Masquerader coming down on board, which is going to give Juan a little bit of disruption on Al's turn. And we have Skeleton banishing itself, targeting the Galatea, specialing it to field. And a pass turn from Juan as Al draws for turn. And it looks like he has a Droll, a Nessie, and I think that was an Armageddon Knight in his hand. So let's see what happens. Yep, it indeed was an Armageddon Knight, and that's coming down, and the effect is being activated. And no response from Juan as Al gets the Foolish Dark Monster from his deck to grave. Let's see what he goes for.
That's gonna be a long, dark.
And Orcust Nightmare is being sent.
Yeah,
Still here.
no, it's not. No, but you keep
So let's see how this progresses for Al. If he could push through Juan's disruptions
No, I give up.
as he quickly just checks what's in Juan's graveyard.
No, it's not. You gotta explore the options sometimes, you know?
If it's the best snap, what options do you have to explore?
And a declaration of battle phase from Al.
I thought Cody don't do excuses.
Still in main phase as Juan chooses to change to the change in phases.
You gotta see what's good out there, you know? You gotta see why it is the best.
As he takes a second to contemplate, and he's activating IP's effect, sending itself and Galatea to grave. And we have Zero Boros coming down. A powerful Link 4 in the Orcust extra deck lineup. So, still in main phase 1, as Al will now get a chance to make additional plays. And we have a reveal of Danger. I believe that was Nessie. So, let's see if Juan can hit the Nessie. And we have a Droll being sent, so Nessie will special itself, and Al will get to draw a card. And it looks like he drew the Phantom Knight spell, which is not really going to help him right now in this situation. So we have Orcust Nightmare being banished. So that'll allow Al to Foolish Dark Machine from his deck. As he takes a second to contemplate, checking his hand. And we have the wand coming down, being sent to grave from his deck. So let's see what Al does next. And it looks like, oh, as he takes a second to contemplate. And Al just confirming that Zero Boros' effect adds same if it banishes face down, which it does not. It banishes face up. So Al is gonna banish the wand in order to special Orcust Nightmare from the banish pile. His wand takes a second to contemplate. Checking his graveyard like any other Orcust player. And we have Gizmek being activated from Juan's grave. And yep, it looks like Al has seen enough. He's scooping it up. We're going to game 2, ladies and gentlemen. That Gizmek would have prompted the Zeroboros, which would have cleared Al's entire field, probably hindering all of his plays. So game 2, side decks are now in effect. Al sets 1 and reveals Danger Rabbit from hand. Let's see if Juan can hit it. And ooh, looks like he hit the wand, which will be sent to grave. Rabbit's gonna special himself, and Al's gonna give himself a brand new draw.
I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather you just tack one in there.
As Al takes a second to contemplate, and we have Skeleton being normal to the field, and Skeleton and Rabbit are being sent away, most likely for the Galatea. Oh no, sorry, for a Barricade Board Blocker. And he's going to activate this effect, pitching Orcust Nightmare to grave, so on end phase he'll get a field spell. I believe from Graveyard it is. I'll have to confirm, but I believe it's from the Graveyard. I'm not sure, but he's allowed to activate it. So Orcust Nightmare is going to banish itself in order to send Gizmek from deck to grave. The wand is now going to banish itself in order to special Orcust Nightmare from the banish pile to the field. Al just lighting himself up with a pretty good amount of advantage right now, as Barricade Board Block and Orcust Nightmare are being linked away in order to bring out Galatea. And Galatea's effect is activating, and Al's setting and activating Babble. And it looks like he's completely in the driver's seat right now. No response from Juan on his side, as Skeleton is now being banished from the graveyard in order to special Orcust Nightmare from grave. And we have Dingirsu coming down on top of the Galatea, attaching the Skeleton from the banish pile. Now, most likely he'll link those away. Yep, he's going to link those away, probably for the IP Masquerena. Let's see what comes down. And yep, IP coming down, which should almost like a reversal of game 1. And we have a pass turn on outside. So IP and one set card, and a Dingirsu and Skeleton. And Skeleton is being banished in order to, oof. It looks like Al was gonna, Al was banishing the Skeleton in order to special the Galatea on Juan's turn, but Juan immediately countered with a Call by the Grave, banishing the Galatea, so Skeleton's effect will fizzle. And we have a Mind Control coming down on Juan's side, taking control of the IP Masquerena. So it looks like in just a few simple plays, Juan has cleared Al of all his plays. So we have I forget what that Orcust monster is called. Forgive me, guys. I'm only human. But the rank 1 Orcust monster. So IP and his Orcust are being banished. I mean, linked away in order to bring out Nightmare Unicorn. So yep, he's indeed activating Nightmare Unicorn's effect. Let's see what, and he's pitching the Crescendo to grave in order to spin back Al's face down card. So let's see what Juan goes for now as he attempts to activate the trap card's effect to get a search, but Al is just reminding him that he summoned a non-machine monster, so he cannot activate that effect this turn. So let's see how Juan follows up, and going straight to battle phase, swinging in with Unicorn for 22 damage. And a pass, looks like a pass turn from Juan, but on end phase, Al is activating Orcust Nightmare's effect, which is then going to send Juan from deck to grave. Unfortunately, yeah, that would have been really busted if Juan was able to pull off that little play there for a second. So, coming back around to Al as he draws for turn, and it looks like he doesn't have much in hand, just an Ash and a Lancia. But he is activating Juan's effect from grave, so that is going to special Orcust Nightmare from the banish pile. and a normal of Ash Blossom, as Nightmare and Ash are being linked away to bring out Galatea. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. As Al just quickly checks to see what he's working with. And let's see how this progresses, as Orcust Nightmare is being banished from the graveyard. Let's see what he dumps from deck to grave. And he's going for a skeleton. And he is now activating Galatea's effect, which is gonna retrieve the wand from the banish pile, shuffling it back into the deck. But Juan is just reminding him that Galatea was banished by Call by the Grave previously, so the effect will not go through. And unfortunately, the add back is not cost, so Juan stays in the banish pile. And by Wand, I mean the Orcust Wand, not Wanda. You guys get it. That was a terrible joke. So Al just takes a second to see what his next line of play will be.
He went wand, banish.
So he's now banishing Skeleton from grave, which is then gonna special the Dingirsu from grave. Let's see which effect he chooses to activate. Just confirming Orcust Nightmare's Nightmare Unicorn's attack strength. So he's reattaching what I believe was the Orcust Nightmare to Dingirsu, and going to battle phase, swinging into the Unicorn with Dingirsu, and then swinging in with Galatea, which was boosted by Orcust Nightmare's effect. And then we have Gizmet coming back from grave as he banishes the top 8 and then swings in for more damage. And it looks like we have as Juan checks Al's grave and checks his grave. Gotta check those graves as an Orcust player. As Juan goes to his turn, and on his standby phase, Al shotguns a Lancia. But it looks like Juan is deciding if he wants to chain Crescendo's grave effect, and is choosing not to. So going to Juan's main phase, let's see what he can work out here. He has no graveyard, but a Pankratops being special to his side of the field. But unfortunately, I don't think Pankratops is going to do a whole lot of damage with Dingirsu being able to protect Al's field. So Pankratops is going in. And it looks like Al has a response as he quick effect chains Galatea's effect, sending back the skeleton in order to set his own crescendo. And Dingirsu will detach Orcust Nightmare in order to protect Galatea, but Al will still take the 800 difference in attack strength. As Juan, I remember the name, it's the Brass, right? As Juan normals the Brass, and then links it away with Link in order to make Link Karibo. It has to be the Brass, right? I'm gonna go look that up right now. But it looks like we have a pass turn from Juan. Just as Al goes to activate Galatea's effect, it is the Brass. I was right. Okay. So off of Galatea's effect, let's see what he gets, and he's going for Orchestrated Return. Nice little draw power for the Orcust lineup there. And it looks like Al may be able to take this game. Juan is really falling behind. So Juan is activating Crescendo's Engrave effect. But, it's immediately met by Al's own Crescendo, as he then proceeds to activate Orchestrated Return, sending Dingirsu to grave in order to draw himself 2 new cards. Juan just cutting his deck real quick. So let's see what Al rips. And it looks like a Wand, and I believe that's a Rhoda.
It's a super rare, so it costs like $4, but it's only playable in Speedballs. You can't play it in like a regular Yu-Gi-Oh match.
God damn, retro packs, $40.
But it's the same exact effect, nothing changes.
So we have Rhoda coming down. Now, Let's
See
see.
that new game for Yu-Gi-Oh?
And Rhoda's gonna retrieve the Dark Grepher for Al.
I was hyped for that.
Wait, I thought those were real cards we were getting.
Oh man, just keeping up with all these graveyard effects, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot, man. Thankfully, Orcust is not as powerful as it used to be with Harp Horror being banned, but they are getting the Mech Knight Orcust, so that's gonna be a thing. As Al goes to activate Gizmek's effect, banishing 3 cards from his extra deck. As he takes a second to contemplate what he could afford to lose there. And Gizmek's targeting the Pankratops. Pankratops is then going to chain its own effect, targeting the Galatea to pop it. We have a normal of Dark Grepher coming down, activating its effect, sending Wand from hand to grave in order to dump Skeleton from deck to grave. Just lining himself up with plenty of plays there. As Al goes to check his grave like any Orcust player does, sending the Wand from grave to the banish in order to special Skeleton from the banish pile.
See if I can get another one.
As he holds that Allure of Darkness in hand.
I know Dark not like Drake.
You're at the 3,050. I like that.
So, and it looks like Juan has seen enough. We're going to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! So, let's see what happens. And it looks like Juan is going to go first, I believe. But, on standby phase, Al's just activating Lancia. Big brain plays right there. Big brain. As Juan takes a second to contemplate. And we have Rhoda coming down. No response from Al. Most likely going for the Dark Grepher. Yep. As Al just cuts Juan's deck real quick.
Way more starters.
So let's see what happens. As Dark Grepher is being normal.
I'd say the main thing Guru has
Wait,
over guys
sorry.
is there can only be one.
Yes, Dark Grepher is being normal, pitching the Phantom Knight card, but that's immediately going to be met by Al's impermanence. As Juan takes a second to contemplate. Let's see if he comes up with any big brain plays here. And we have a reveal of a danger. I didn't get a good look at what that was, but he shuffles up his hand, and Al's going to try to attempt to hit the danger. And we have Babel being hit and sent to grave, and it was Danger Nessie, so that's going to special itself, and Juan's going to get a brand new card from deck. And we have another danger reveal. Okay. Looks like Juan may be back in this. So let's see what happens. And it looks like, ooh, it looks like Al hit the rabbit, which in turn should, yep. It looks like he's going for Chupacabra, specialing it from deck. So Juan's going to link those two away in order to bring out IP Masquerena, which will then give him some disruption on Al's turn. As we pass turn to Al, now let's see how this progresses. Al just checking Juan's graveyard like any good Orcust player does. So we have a set 1 from Al, set 2 from Al. Normally when I say ooh, and ooh, that's risky. The Lord Darkness coming down. And looks like he didn't hit anything. So he'll be forced to banish the Dark Grepher from hand, leaving him with, I can't imagine many plays after that. As he checks his face down cards, yeah, just the look on Al's face is just the look of pure disappointment. So let's see if he has any follow-up plays as he checks out Juan's graveyard as well. And a reluctant pass turn from Al. Just look at look at Juan's face as he just can't believe what just happened. Let's see what he does next. As he takes a second to contemplate. We have the Phantom Knight being banished, but that's immediately going to be met by Ash Blossom. I'm sorry, guys. That whole scenario just cracked me up a little bit. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! This is what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Great, guys. So Dark Reference effects being activated, banishing the discarding the brass from hand. Al just checking if he has a response. So Orcust Nightmare is being sent from deck to grave. And we have Allure of Darkness coming down. Oof. And it looks like Allure's effect for Juan played out a little bit better than it did for Al as he banishes Gizmek from hand. So let's see how this progresses. As Orcust Nightmare is being banished, targeting the IP. The worst feeling in the world is when you have to just sit back and take it from your opponent. So Wand is being sent from deck to grave, the Wand. And that's going to then banish itself in order to special Orcust Nightmare from the banish pile. So, looks like we have a Link summon. And we have a Galatea coming down. Galatea's effect being activated, which is then going to shuffle Gizmek from the banish pile back into the deck. And it looks like Juan is in the pilot seat right now, as Galatea is then going to set the crescendo. Don't you just love these mirror matches, guys? Whew, whole lot of skill involved. Just a whole lot of back and forth between graveyard effects and then Gears coming down on top of the Galatea. And it looks like Juan is activating the effect Ascend, choosing the card on the far, which turns out to be a Twin Twister, but unfortunately Dingirsu does not target, and Al would have had to chain that upon the activation of Dingirsu's effect. So Juan goes to activate Orchestrated Return, sending Dingirsu to the grave to get himself 2 new cards. He's just going off right now. And we have a set one and another Allure being activated. Just the balls on Juan, activating Allure of no hand. Just, I love this, man. I'm loving every second of this right now. As he just checks his grave and his face down real quick before making his decision what to banish.
But no, remember you got Lantia. You feel safe.
As he chooses to banish a Danger Rabbit to pay for Allure's cost.
I'm safe with Lantia.
And now he's activating Babble's in-grave effect, sending an Orcust Nightmare to grave in order to retrieve the Orcust Babble. So we're going to battle phase, and he's swinging in with the IP, and it is boosted by Orcust Nightmare's effect from prior. So Al's gonna take 16 damage, and Babble is being activated. And it looks like we have a pass turn from Juan. As Al just goes to check the grave real quick and draws for turn. And on standby phase, Juan is now activating Orcust Nightmare, banishing itself, targeting the IP, which is then going to special the skeleton. No, I'm sorry, it's going to send the skeleton to the grave. Al just cutting his deck real quick. So we have Babble coming down on Al's side, and Al's activating his other face-down card, which is Monster Reborn. And it looks like he's targeting the brass in Juan's graveyard. Juan taking a second to contemplate. And Juan is chaining Skeleton's effect to target Dingirsu to special it to the field. So the chain resolves backwards, and Al will get Juan's brass. But on a new chain, Dingirsu's effect activates, sending brass back to graveyard. That was a great play on Juan's part. So let's see if Al has any other plays, but it looks like Juan is in complete control right now. And we have a pass turn, draw phase. And it looks like Juan top decked the Armageddon Knight, and Al has seen enough and has decided to scoop it up. So it looks like Juan is taking this matchup in a very interesting 2-1 game. Thank you guys for watching, and congrats to Juan for winning this match. Be sure to check out our YouTube page for more videos just like this. Plenty of IRLs are coming down the line, along with some other content for you guys. Catch you guys in the next video.